Wow, it's been a while since I've been back here, folks. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I was here. Long time ago. You guys don't know where you are? You have no idea where you're at. But I do. Looks like somebody has some good old Chick-fil-A. They're closed on Sundays. What a shame. Good for them, though. Who wants to look for four-leaf clovers? Gotta put the keys up. But yeah, let's talk some baseball today. It's been a long time since I've been back here. Wow. They did a great job. They even put seats behind the home plate area. We'll get to that in a minute. There's nobody around. It's Sunday. They should have games out here on Sunday. They used to. I used to come and watch them. One of those retired jerseys graduated 2 years after I graduated. Huh. 2018 Baseball Mania. See, school has definitely kept me from keeping up with the good old things I used to keep up with. But yeah, it was fun times, it really was. It was a good time. I'm still trying to wake up. I slept late because it's a lazy Sunday. Yeah. So don't mind me trying to add suspense to the video. I haven't woken up yet. I want to go out and do something. It's a beautiful day, but I decided to make a pit stop here so we can talk some baseball. Hope you enjoy this this sporting video, this scouting video. I'm just gonna call it an educational video. Like I said, I don't know what kind of genres to put my videos under. Look at this piece of art. I think I'll take a picture and frame it or something. That's fabulous. It's got some age to it. I can't see, the glare of the sun is really bad on the screen. Yeah, you gotta analyze the numbers. Number 10. I like that one. Yeah, good times. Wonder how they did this year. I know how they did in 2007, that's for sure, when they won that state championship. I didn't know about it because I was doing my thing. But look at this piece of art. Leonardo's got to take pictures of everything, doesn't he? Everything is art. I can't tell if it's in focus or not. But it's perfect. Look at the green grass. Actually, it looks like it's turf, the new thing these days. Yeah, but let's talk about the good old days. Let's talk about pitching, perhaps. Maybe some hitting. Oh good, the flag is not half-staff. That's cool. Means we're doing something good here in the US. That's good. You know me, I'm a little bit paranoid. I'll see the sprinklers on and I'm thinking that someone's around here and they're going to show up behind me, wanting to know what I'm doing out here. Just trying to look around. But yeah, you know me. Yeah. Change up grip. Two-seam fastball. Curveball. Middle finger curveball. double finger curveball. I like this one too. That's a comfortable grip. Leonardo likes that one. Yeah, jack of all trades. Split, horseshoe split, across the seam split. Yeah, I can bump it up to 90 again out here if I threw again. I haven't thrown a baseball in 5 years because of school. But they'll want to know what some ancient man is doing after throwing 90 miles an hour. I probably hit 80 right now. But I need to start throwing. Again, I want to get back into baseball. But I love it all. See, I played sports as a way to decipher and invent new ways to make things better. Try to crack the code. Because to me, baseball and football are codes. But baseball is a better code. You do things. Especially as a pitcher. You throw a ball to deceive a batter. It's like a code you have to break. His code versus yours. But if you're a very special pitcher, your code can be unbreakable. Yeah, we're going to talk about that today. It's going to be a fun time. But yeah, what other grips should I? I'd be a great pitching coach. But now, since I can't play like in the majors because I'm ancient, I would be the best scout ever. And I'll show you why in a minute. What other grips do I have? I invented a long time ago, and this actually works. Like I said, I played this sport to try to figure out a way to make things better. Not just to make it somewhere, but I did it for a purpose. To try to study myself, to try to study the sport, to try to scout everything I could. I studied everybody, everything, the batter, everything I could, the base runners, everything about the sport, to try to invent new ways where you can always win and make your way to the Hall of Fame if possible. But I invented this split. I had two of them. I had a I call this the diamond split. But I invented one, where is it at? I call it a knuckle split. Perfect. Perfect pitch, and it actually worked. Or it's like a knuckleball. It didn't dance. It was the craziest thing, but it actually worked. Like I said, it was a knuckle split. Or it had the action of a split finger. But it didn't move, it didn't spin. But it did not dance like a knuckleball. People who saw me throw it, they didn't know what the heck it was. But I wouldn't share my secret. But it was still like an experiment, just an experiment. That's all it was, but it actually worked. Knuckle split. You had to release it. You had to snap your wrist at a perfect time. You had to have your wrist perfectly, almost 90 degrees to the ground. That 90-degree angle, and snap it off. But it actually worked. I love throwing that pitch. The knuckle split. Action of a split finger. No spin on it. But it didn't dance like a knuckleball. The oddest pitch you've ever seen thrown. But it was only about maybe at tops, maybe 65, 60. Just like most knuckleballs, except for if you're R.A. Dickey. You throw 81. 81 mile an hour knuckleball. But yeah, this is the second time I've heard a blower drowning out my audio. And look at the yellow versus the blue out there. Give me signs again right in front of my face. Give me signs. But there's something else right in front of your face. You're missing it. Something that you should always use. And what we're going to talk about now is something very significant for the game of baseball. Especially when it comes to scouting. Jeez, you missed it, guys. You missed it. I guess I'll talk about scouting for pitchers for now. And then I'll talk about hitting later. Scouting for hitting. No, I'm not an expert. But Leonardo's always thinking. It never stops. So what you're looking at, obviously, is a baseball field. You're looking at probably about, what is that? How many degrees from this point to home plate? I don't know. Maybe about 17 degrees, I think, if you do the geometry right. I don't know. I usually like to be about, I'd say 10 to 20 degrees. Maybe 25 degrees over here in this direction over here. And I'll tell you why. So when you're scouting a picture, you never thought about this, did you? You never did. But this is what you're going to have to do. This is what you're going to have to do to scout the best pictures. To try to predict the future for the picture. But the main deal is try to figure out if they're going to be top notch. If they're going to be a very good pitcher for the upcoming future. Minor leagues all the way through the minor leagues. Possibly through the majors. Possibly to the Hall of Fame. But it starts with something that's right in front of your face. Something that you develop for protection. I call it the scouting grid. You have all these metrics. You have all these stat machines is what I call them. They're perfect. Would make Leonardo proud. It does. But you miss something very significant about your scouting, and it's right in front of your face. Look at it. What is it? What have you developed out of necessity for protection? Yeah. But that's all you did. You did the experiment there. But you should have taken it a lot further. The perspective grid. Well, it's not really perspective. It depends on what angle you're sitting at. And what am I getting at? You can use two different items, depends on where you are. You can use the netting, the squares, or you can use the chain link fence. But this is what you're going to have to do. What should I start with, the scouting report? The elbow, position, motion, rotation? Or should I talk about the wrist action, the release point? Let's start talking about the release point and how to use this perfect perspective grid that you design yourself. Not only can you use it as protection, but you can use it as a way to devise something, to come up with a conclusion about somebody. Am I drawing your interest? Yeah, I bet I am, because you never thought about it. Imagine a pitcher out there. You're watching him. First, you have to pinpoint his location, his release point, his arm angle. And then you have to use your built-in Metatron cube. Everybody's got one. That's why I devised this idea many years ago, because I automatically started using it. You have to use your dominant eye to pinpoint his release point within a square. I prefer to be back about maybe 10 feet, because the smaller that is, the better chance you get to find out how consistent he's going to be between every pitch that he throws. Curveball, slider, curveball. I like this slider grip right here, across the seams, literally across the seams. Pull down on it. So you can decipher by using the perspective grid right in front of your face. Simple, common sense, right? Exactly, you never thought about it. But you should have. I know you experts out there not agreeing with me. It's okay. I accept your opinion. You experts out there, the ones I've always looked up to. I enjoy everything. I've always looked up to those guys. All the baseball experts, the scouting experts. But I'd always wanted to be a scout, even though I can't play competitively anymore. But in order to make somebody have a better opportunity and know where they're headed and possible ways to help them, you have to use what's in front of your face to collect the ideas, to make decisions, to spot location by using what you have already developed in the past. The simple square, like a cube, like the Metatron cube. You can't be this close, you can't. You'll get the entire picture in the entire frame of the square. You gotta step back, like I said, at least 7 to 15 feet. Probably just a little bit more. Use your dominant eye. Sorry about the focus. Use that dominant eye. Tilt your head to the side, like you're looking in the scope of a rifle, getting ready to hit that target. Hopefully it's not an animal. But yeah, there you go. Just use that square. to pinpoint his release point, his arm action. You can use the angles that are provided right to you. Just connect the points. Just connect the points. When he throws the ball, watch where his elbow releases. Not releases, but where his elbow ends up. His arm action, his arm angle. Making sure it's consistent with every pitch. You should always try doing that now. Trust me, it'll work. It always worked for me. But you have to look away just a little while. Because it's like an optical illusion. You're thinking about depth. You're thinking about using something you never used before. But what else can you use this for? Not just the chain link fence and this. The diamond shapes of the chain link fence are the same way. That's what you also use. If you have that available in front of you, either or. Depends on which one you have available. But what else can you use it for? Yeah, exactly. The batter in the batter's box. You can use the points on the square. All four corners. If you want me to do this, I'll be the best scout ever. But you have to use your resources. You just can't use the basics like the radar gun. You have to take it to another level. But yeah, you study the batter. You can study the first baseman. You can study everything. It's the geometry of the game. Baseball is a geometric game. Therefore what? You use what you have provided for yourself for protection. Bingo. But like me, I'm always trying to use my dominant Leonardo eyes. Like I would try to line up this pole with the foul pole in the background to try to see if they're level or not to the horizon. So yeah, but you never know. It's level. It is. I know. I tested it. Test that theory. Well, it's not a theory. I don't like theories. You have to prove things. But the only way to prove things is use the things that were given to you, that you developed yourself. But as far as studying the batter, you're going to have to be able to move around to study batters. Not just a pitcher. You'll probably have to move to 2 to 3 different places by studying the pitcher. Especially if they're ambidextrous. You're going to be there forever. But when studying the batter, you're going to have to move around quite a bit. But to use this grid in front of your face to study the batter, I'm going to tell you something you never thought about, but you don't do this. Yeah, you can use this grid in front of your face. Just call it the Da Vinci grid when you're studying baseball. And you study his arm position, everything. His shoulders, his stance, where his feet are located. You have to use the objects in front of you. But one thing that you never considered, and it was shown to you automatically in all the sporting events, especially the major ones like the World Series, what is always in the air during the breaks? Yeah, the Goodyear blimp. What else? The cameras that go above. I know you can't have those in baseball. Probably in Tropicana Field or some kind of dome you might be able to have it. But anything above the field, like a football field, the cameras that go across. That was the idea. You have to use your resources. It tells you something that you're missing. You should never just study a batter in elevation. I know you're in the batting cages, doing your thing. You got the camera on the side. But you should study the batter in plan view also. It'll work. You'll have an undefeated team, the best hitters. Because how do you study a batter in plan view? It helps you see their arm position, how far they have their arms back, their fists back, their stance, how everything works with geometry, how to increase that power, if the mechanics are correct. Same thing with the pitcher. But I know there's one glitch, is that you just can't put a camera above, the home plate area, because they're going to foul the ball straight up. Yeah, but you can. It can be above a protective net, about 6 to 10 inches. It's common sense, people. Study the batters in plan view also. But enough with the scouting. You ever heard my ideas about using the necessities of the game as a way to scout, as a way to improve your players so they can improve themselves by studying videos and stuff, whatever. But back to the pitcher. Like I said about the release point, you move to the elbow position, use the grid, everything that's given to you. That way you make corrections. You just diagram it out, whatever's provided to you, people, scouts, coaches. You just draw the lines, and you say you weren't on that line between those 2 points. You're going to have elbow problems. You're not consistent with your release point in the square. I have proof. Let's try to keep it within that square. They should have special cameras for scouting that automatically have a grid inside of it, just like this. Bingo. Just call that the secondary Da Vinci lens, not the 2 main ones that I invented a while back with the Metatron keyboard or Flower of Life built inside of them by matching up geometries, edges of something, like in the Mona Lisa or something. But there's something else you should know about baseball. A way to make the game better. Like I said, I played the game to devise ways to improve, invent, make things better. So this is an idea, a concept of mine, to increase velocity on your fastball. It's a psychological ploy for your brain. Trust me, someone knows how the brain works. The brain is connected to your mind. I mean, it is your mind. But in a way, it's kind of separated with your soul, from your soul. Because it's a natural being, right? Hope I'm not scaring anybody. I'm not intending to. Where's my trunk? Watch a bumblebee being here. Look at them. They like that sugar. But who doesn't like the sugar, right? Exactly. I'm taking a couple of sips while you think about that for a minute. While I zoom in, hold on. Man, they've done some good work out here, haven't they? But I haven't been able to keep up. Because of school, college, architecture. I probably made it to about 1 or 2 games back in like 2014, the early spring of 2014, like in March, April, when I had a few games left or something, halfway through. Try to scout them, try to use that scouting grid. Alright, so get this idea. Call this the Da Vinci pitching idea. How you can gain velocity. Like I said, I've studied everything about the game. And I devised a way, and this worked for me. I'm going to tell you something, you're not going to agree with me. But I know myself. I know who I am. I know what I could do. But no one knows this about me. I didn't have a goal of making it to the pros. I was just out here to try to invent something. A different kind of player, different kind of pitcher, different pitches. You gotta start from square one. I got my fastball up to 94. Never played pro ball. I know. You never saw it because I was just trying to make things perfect. The perfect arm. But I had to get a job, all this other stuff, so I didn't play baseball that much, but I still threw. Good times. There's not like throwing that ball. But let's talk about gaining your arm speed. Increasing arm velocity on your, for your fastball. Arm speed and velocity as a pitcher. What do you do? What is your regimen, guys? What, on your off days you throw about 100 pitches, 75 to 100 pitches, about 75 to 100% maybe? 65% starting off? This is not just for pitchers, it's for everybody out there who's warming up. Outfielders, infielders. If you want a better arm, you have to do it backwards. A la you know who. Who always did things back, whoever did things backwards. I'm paranoid. I'm thinking somebody's going to come around that corner. Or this corner. But who always did things backwards? But backwards and forwards. Yeah, it's a code you have to break. The code within yourself. The code of a sport. The code of your arm. A bit of advice. Pitchers, don't bulk up. Do not bulk up. Arm speed. Arm strength is different. Conditioning and strength training is different. They're very different, but they're kind of in the same category. Conditioning and strength training. There's 3 components within your body, in your arm, in your shoulders, that really generate the best fastball. What are those? No, it's not your triceps and biceps. Those should only be secondary and tertiary. No, your tendons, joints, and ligaments. The rubber bands, basically. The rubber bands. You ever study a pitching machine that has the arm? Exactly. How can a piece of metal just throw a ball so hard? Don't study the ones with the wheels. Study the ones with the arm. The rubber arm. Well, it's not rubber, it's metal, but the way it comes around looks like it's rubber. Exactly. I studied that too to try to get the ideas. How I can do the same thing. But I'm going to tell you something. When you warm up, you don't throw the fastballs. You throw, I'm going to call them the hard balls because it's very psychological. What comes to mind when you think about throwing fastballs? What does your brain think about automatically when you're trying to air it out? You're thinking about arm strength. You're thinking about muscle strength. You're not thinking about arm speed. You have to trick your brain into doing something, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. How to generate the highest and best arm speed. Hence, a better fastball. So when you start warming up, you do not throw what I call fastballs. Just throw the ball hard, but not as hard as you can. You just warm up. Now what do? When you're throwing on the sidelines over here on your days off, warming up, throw about maybe 80 to 110 pitches. But I'm going to give you a secret, the Leonardo way. It's working backwards and forwards, forwards and backwards. What's the best pitch ever invented? I know you're probably thinking, everybody's going to say this. All the coaches who are listening to this, all the scouts, all the experts. I know what you're going to say. It's a well-placed fastball. Exactly. You're right, but you're wrong. You got to think forwards and backwards at the same time, the Leonardo way. What is the perfect pitch? The pitch of deception. No, it's not a curveball. That's a great pitch. Kerry Wood had the perfect one. Who else has a perfect one? Strasburg, you name it. There's a few of them have just like downright perfect curveballs. It's a flying machine. They're about to fly me back to Italy. Watch some of that Italian style baseball while sitting next to a river. No, you missed it. The changeup. The perfect art of deception. The pitch of deception. So you're trying to finally understand what I'm saying. You throw about 20 hard balls, the best of your abilities, but don't just air it out. You don't want any Tommy John problems. Tommy John surgery. You don't want to hurt your rotator cuff or anything. But just warm up. Now, the next 25, I'd say no, not 25. Let's bump it up a little bit. The next 35 to 45 pitches or throws should be what, people? You have to trick your brain. Your brain already knows this. Your brain is automatic. The brain is automatic. Trust me, you guys all know. What are you tricking your brain into doing? You're supposed to warm up with your changeup for the next 35 to 45 pitches. You have to develop the changeup, the perfect deception, the perfect pitch. But it also is a ploy to trick your brain into something else. What is your brain automatically going to do? Like I said earlier, when you're airing it out, excuse my sinuses, when you're airing out the ball and throwing those fastballs, your brain is concentrating on arm strength. Not arm speed, arm strength. The larger muscles are secondary and tertiary, not primary in this. You have to strengthen your joints. You have to increase your arm speed. How do you increase your arm speed? Your brain is automatically concentrating on arm speed when you throw the changeup. Why? Because you're working forwards and backwards at the same time. Your brain is focusing on how to generate the fastest arm speed. To do what? To throw the slowest pitch. How do you make or create a perfect changeup? You go backwards and forwards at the same time. Exactly. Now you're thinking, but you should have always known this. It has to do with the body and the brain working together. The brain knows what it's doing. You hold a specific grip in your hand. Your brain is automatically concentrating on how to generate arm speed, not arm strength. Bingo. To do what? To do something backwards. A fastball, arm speed. To throw a slower pitch. The art of deception, backwards and forwards at the same time. But you can do it. You can do this with anybody. Outfielders who are throwing. I know how you work out. You start off close together when you start warming up. That's when you should throw those 20 first throws. Then you step back. You're probably going to throw about maybe, I don't know, you work your way back like you always do. Out to center, to the sidelines like you always line up. You throw about maybe 10 or 15 more hard balls. Air it out. Woo! Throw it across the field. And as you work your way in, you start throwing what? Exactly. Because that grip is called a psychological grip. Psychological. Works with the brain. The brain knows what it's doing. You're not thinking that, but the brain is automatically thinking that. What's going to happen when you get on the mound? You do the same thing. I'm not saying during game time when you're on the mound you don't throw the changeup 90% of the time. No. This is for practice. This is how to increase your arm speed, starting at any age. Now, you'll want to know what happens next. What is the hardest pitch to control? The changeup is the hardest pitch to control. You know, like the curveball, you're probably going to say maybe a curveball, maybe a slider. No, it's not. It can generate that downward pull. You got to think about how the arm and the motion of the arm is generating arm speed to make a perfect pitch, a perfect throw. Now, like I said, you're wondering what happens next. Exactly. Give it some time. You'll see what's going to happen. The perfect pitch is a well-placed changeup. Where's the best location? Low in the strike zone. You're automatically going to start concentrating. Your brain is going to concentrate on arm speed to throw the perfect pitch. Your control is going to increase. It's going to get better. Because your goal, your brain is automatically focused on what? Locating that perfect changeup low in the strike zone. So finger placement, everything works together. When you throw your changeup, when you're warming up on the side, your body compensates for that. Your body is automatically thinking, your brain and your body is working together to do what? To devise and design a way. Your body is actually designing a way. Your brain is designing a way. Your mechanics are going to change. Why? Because it's trying to create a way where everything blends perfectly, like a painting, like acrylic or something. On how your body is trying to create a way where the mechanics are perfect. So you have arm speed and great location for any pitch. Bingo. You have to work with your brain. You have to help it out a little bit, but it already knows what it's doing. You're just a catalyst. Your ideas are the catalyst for it. So now what? Yeah. You have better arm speed, not arm strength. You have better arm speed because your rubber bands are stronger. The ligaments, tendons, and joints, they're stronger. The rubber band. Look at the skinny guys out there, like Greg Maddux, Pedro Martinez. They're not bulked up, are they? No. They have the perfect arm size for what they do. You think about how they can throw so hard. Yes, the tendons, ligaments, and joints. Exactly. Did they ever have arm trouble? Not particularly, no. The older you get, things break down, though. But the biggest problem is do not bulk up. You should not bulk up. You'll only have a good fastball, a good arm, maybe for about a year before you start injuring yourself, because you have to maintain those muscles. But then if you're concentrating on muscle size and muscle strength, what ends up happening is your tendons, joints, and ligaments are secondary and tertiary now, not the major muscles. So you have to be careful with that. So now what are you going to do? Now that your fingers, everything is working together the way it should for the first season and a half or so. You have a perfect changeup that's always low in the strike zone because you've thrown it so much. Your arm speed is impeccable. After those 45 pitches of changeups, the more you do this, you'll be throwing 105 in no time. Your arm is going to be stronger. Your arm speed is going to be impeccable. Now you start throwing your fastball. You're going to be blown away because you're going to have better control because you already located your changeup low in the strike zone. You think about how geometry works. You think about the motion, the quickness, the speed of your arm, your release point, because you are concentrating on where you want to release the changeup to make it perfect. Right? Exactly. Now, just don't start crying when you start seeing how great your fastball is going to be. You're going to have great control because your fastball is going to be a few inches higher than where the changeup's placed. Think about geometry. Think about arm speed. Exactly. You'll rarely throw a fastball up in the strike zone because your brain has already changed your body motion, everything about it, the mechanics. The changeup is your pitching coach. The art of deception, the Leonardo pitch, backwards and forwards. Perfect. Exactly perfect. So just try that. It'll be fun. You'll have a good time with it. Don't be too focused on trying to be the strongest pitcher. But speed's not everything. The art of the changeup is. There's one pitch that guides everything. Finger placement, release point, arm speed, location. Anything you possibly think of. So just do that for a while. I know I will. I'm going to continue to do that so I can try to get my fastball back up to 88 at my age. Oh, trust me, I'll be successful at it. I just have to start throwing again. But just try your best at doing that It'll be fun, but you have 2 years. It's going to take about 2 years to develop this within yourself. But you will be successful. But be careful. Like I said, do not bulk up. But if I was a hitter, which I am, I'm the jack of all trades. I could play shortstop if you wanted me to. At my age, gee, I don't even know how old I am anymore. I don't. I try to lose track. You know who I'd hate to face as a batter? Like I said, I studied all the pitchers. Clayton Kershaw worries me because he's getting a lot of bulk in that arm of his. But back injuries are no joke. Ask Prince Fielder and the other ones. Gotta be careful, Clayton. You do. But the 2 pitchers, I'm going to give you a right-hander and a left-hander that I would hate to face because I would go 0 for 1,000. A lot of us would. One of these players, I don't understand how he doesn't win 20 games a year. No, it's not Jake Arrieta with that infamous cutter he's got that looks like the perfect slider. The way he comes around from the side, kind of like looks like a right-handed Bumgarner, but not as extreme. But yeah, who would you hate to face as a batter? One of them is going to blow your mind. Actually, both of them you'll never guess. No, it's not Thor. You don't know who Thor is. That's, do you know who Thor is? I'm not going to tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you. It's Syndergaard. But I'm not going to say him. He throws gas. Yeah, he's got some good movement. But anybody could hit a good fastball. I'm not going to say Aroldis Chapman as a left-hander. He just airs it out. Yeah, I know. He almost has a near impossible fastball to hit. But yeah, you can pick up on it. You can hit his fastball. It's got no movement at all. It's the slider that makes up for the non-movement on his fastball. The lack of motion on his fastball because it goes so fast. But the one right-hander I'm going to tell you is going to blow your mind. Who is this one right-hander that I wonder why he doesn't win 20 games a year? Charlie Morton. I know there's a few other guys I haven't studied, like this new guy Tramer or something like that who plays for the A's. I've been studying him recently, but I haven't really understood if that was going to be a right-hander in my choice. He throws in the upper 90s. Got that movement, that sink on it. But I haven't added him to the list yet. The pitcher of choice for the right-hander I'd hate to face would be Charlie Morton. Why? Because he's not too violent to the plate. He's very deceptive. He's got a change-up wind-up, is what I call it. He's got a change-up style wind-up, but he throws in the upper 90s. You ever study the motion and sink on his fastball? Completely unhittable, in my opinion. How does he not win 20 games a year? And he's getting older. How unfortunate. I'm always pulling for him, but I'm always pulling for everybody else. Because I love the game of baseball. I'm a fan. The perfect fan. But who else would I not want to face? The left-hander. You'll never guess who I'm going to tell you. No, it's not going to be Chapman. I already told you that. It's not going to be a few others. You have to study them long enough. Oh, great. I hear thunder. I was going to try to get out to the waters of eternity. Try to walk through the creeks of time. But yeah. Who would you not want to face left-handed? You'll never guess this pitcher, this player. Unfortunately, this time he's injured. It's a big story. No, it's not Dellin Betances for the Yankees. He's right-handed. He scares me. He's just wild the way he steps across the mound. It's like he just pulls along to the side over there and he throws from the side. It's weird. He's got that weird motion where he's just definitely going to have a lot of arm trouble in the future. He's just so big anyway. But no. Who is that left-hander? You haven't guessed it. You'll never guess it. Zach Britton. Zach Britton. Excuse me, my sinuses. I'll definitely hate to face Zach Britton. Now, he's a lot more violent to the plate than Charlie Morton is. He just comes right after you. But his ball, he throws in the upper 90s, just like a lot of them. But his ball starts its sinking motion nearly after he just releases the ball. I've never seen anything like it before. It's almost like I thought it was a split finger. Long ago when I was studying his fastball, I was like, I would just do a replay like 100 times and take out the protractor. Yeah, no, I'm weird like that. And I'll be like, dear, man, that's impossible. That's got to be a split finger. Got to be some kind of slider, but it's not. It's a complete unhittable fastball. Just don't leave it up in the strike zone. But I guess that's his overall goal. But I'd hate to face Zach Britton of the Orioles. But those are my pitches of choice. But have a good time with it. Always remember, you must always be thinking like somebody else did. Because there are always ways to make your life better. Your sport, your abilities better within a game. Your scouting abilities, using the grid in front of your face. Using the tools that you were given to make things better for your players, yourself, your career. But be careful, do not bulk up. That's when the problems start. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.